What are the laws for bicycles in Arizona? And to be more specific, what are the traffic laws that are related to bicycles in the state of Arizona? These are state laws, and there's also city laws in some communities related to bicycles, but what we're covering today are the Arizona state laws. This presentation is a part of the Traffic Skills 101 class, The Science of Street Cycling, that is put on by different organizations through the League of American Bicyclists, and in specific, this part is the Arizona bicycle law portion, which is not part of the LAB course, but is part of the Coalition of Arizona Bicyclists course to prepare people to ride within the state of Arizona. So why do we want to obey the law in the first place, especially on your bicycle? Why not run that red light if no one's coming? Well, here's some reasons. In the picture on the left, you have a guy that's on the sidewalk. He's wearing headphones. He does not have a helmet on. He's going the wrong way. There's even a street sign that says wrong way for bicycles. And he has low tire pressure, and he's not even looking where he's going. This is asking for something bad to happen, because there could be a driveway or a parking lot entrance just up ahead that if he's not paying attention and the car coming out doesn't see him because he's going the wrong way and he's on a sidewalk, he could easily be hit by a car. So that's the first reason to obey the law, is to be predictable, to be visible where people expect someone to be, so you don't get hit. And then the next picture there shows a bunch of bicyclists and a red light, and they're all going through it. They're not waiting for the traffic light to change. They're just going ahead and going through, and they're not riding two abreast as is required. So acting like this, motorists get annoyed. Other bicyclists, I get annoyed when I see bicyclists not following the law, because I know it's a bad example and it's just asking for trouble, because if something bad does happen, whose fault was it? Well, the person not following traffic laws. So let's follow the law. Principles of traffic law. If you drive a car, then you're familiar with these general principles. First of all, drive on the right. Second, first come, first served. So if you're in a lane, someone can't pull right in front of you because you were there already. Obey traffic control devices. So that's stopping for stop signs, stopping for red lights, obeying yield signs, etc. And number 4 is observe speed, lane, and intersection positioning. Obviously, you want to follow the speed limits, you want to be in the lanes that you're supposed to be in, and that means that if you're making a right turn, you're on the right side, if you're making a left turn, you're on the left side, that kind of thing. And then the intersection positioning is being where you should be for where you're going through that intersection. William Phelps Eno was the father of traffic safety. He developed traffic law for New York City, and that was back at the turn of into the 1900s. And in 1870, you see in the picture below that the traffic was busy. There was lots of cars or lots of horse-drawn carriages and wagons and a few trolleys, horses. But then 1900, traffic was horrible. They needed some kind of rules to follow so people know what to expect and what to look for and where to go to prevent accidents and congestion. So let's go through some principles. This comes from Effective Cycling, a book by John Forrester. Cyclists fare best when they act and are treated as drivers of vehicles. When you act like a vehicle on the roadway and you do all the signals and position yourself where you should be, then traffic will see you doing what's expected, and everybody will be happier and safer. Never sacrifice your safety for the convenience of others. This is another thing to remember. Just because people are being inconvenienced doesn't mean you should do something that's not safe for you. This was said by Richard Moore. He's a league cycling instructor in Arizona, and he works for the Arizona Department of Transportation. And with traffic law, a policeman can pull you over if you violate the law on your bicycle. They can give you a ticket, give you a fine, give you points on your license, and you could even get an insurance increase. So we don't want that to happen. Definitions. Here's where we get into the statutes, the traffic law for Arizona. 28-101 defines a bicycle as a device, including a racing wheelchair that's propelled by human power and on which a person may ride, and has either 2 tandem wheels, either of which is more than 16 inches in diameter, or 3 wheels in contact with the ground, any of which is more than 16 inches in diameter. So if you think about it, a very little small kid with a very small bicycle, the wheels are most likely less than 16 inches, so it's not considered a bicycle on a roadway. However, once a child is larger and their bicycle wheels are 16 inches, then they are riding a bicycle under the definition here. And of course, if it's a tandem or it's a racing wheelchair, then and the wheels are more than 16 inches in diameter, then they are considered a bicycle. Applicability of traffic laws to bicycle riders, Section 28-812. A person riding a bicycle on a roadway or on a shoulder adjoining a roadway is granted all of the rights and is subject to all of the duties applicable to the driver of a vehicle. So this is saying, if you're a bicycle on a roadway or a shoulder adjoining a roadway, then you're granted all the rights of a vehicle. That means you have a right to be there. So motorists can't say, get off the road, you shouldn't be here, because this law says that you have all the rights to be on there. But it also says that you're subject to all the duties applicable to any vehicle. That means you should be following all the traffic laws. So, is a bicycle required to obey traffic law? Under this definition, yes. Is a bicycle a motor vehicle in Arizona? No. This definition says it's a vehicle. A vehicle, it acts like a vehicle. It's actually a device from the last definition. 28-813, riding on bicycles. A person propelling a bicycle shall not ride other than on or astride a permanent and regular seat attached to the bicycle. So you can't have people riding on your handlebars or standing on pegs off your rear wheel. A person shall not use a bicycle to carry more persons at one time than the number for which it is designed and equipped. So if you had a child seat that fixed permanently to the back of your bicycle, then yes, the child can ride on it. But they can't sit on the rear rack that's just mounted there. Clinging to a vehicle, 28-814. A person riding on a bicycle, coaster, sled, or toy vehicle, or on roller skates shall not attach the bicycle, coaster, sled, toy vehicle, or roller skates, or that person to a vehicle on a roadway. So no getting a free ride, and if you watch the Tour de France, you've seen the racers holding onto the coach's car or getting information or maybe getting supplies or something, and that's not allowed under Arizona law, so don't do it. 28-815, riding on a roadway and bicycle path usage. So this tells you where you should be riding on the road. A person riding a bicycle on a roadway at less than the normal speed of traffic at the time and place and under the conditions then existing shall ride as close as practicable to the right-hand curb or edge of that roadway, except under any of the following conditions. So let's go back here. It says at less than the normal speed of traffic. So if you're going slower than regular traffic, then you want to follow this and ride to the right as close as practicable. Now, what does that mean, practicable? It's not saying possible, it's saying practicable. League of American Bicyclists recommends that you ride 2 to 3 feet from the rideable edge. That rideable edge is not the curb, it's actually the edge before it hits the gutter. So that edge of pavement, it's rideable. So that means 2 to 3 feet from there. That gives you space. If someone pulls too close to you, you actually have space to go somewhere. If you don't, if you ride right next to the gutter, you got inches, then if someone pulls too close, you're going to go in that gutter and you may hit the curb and you may be going down. So that 2 to 3 feet gives you some extra space. Now there's exceptions for riding to the right as far as practicable. And the first one is if you're overtaking and passing another bicycle or a vehicle proceeding in the same direction. So if there's a parked car, a car that's going really slow looking for something, or a bicycle, and you want to pass them, then that's when you can pull out and pass them. The second reason is if you're preparing for a left turn at an intersection or into a private road or driveway. So that is meaning that you're making a left turn, you don't want to make that left turn from the right side, so you pull over to the left of the lane to make that left turn. Obviously, you're going to signal and look for traffic. Or if you're turning into a driveway, or if it's a 2-lane road, then you'd pull all the way over to the left lane to make that left turn. The third reason is to avoid conditions on the roadway. Fixed or moving objects, parked or moving vehicles, bicycles, pedestrians, animals, surface hazards, all of those things that you have to go around. So if there's a pile of glass that's in that right hand side of the lane that you need to get around so you don't get a flat tire, or there's a big piece of debris, something like that, then no problem. Go ahead and move left to get around. The fourth reason is the lane in which the person is operating the bicycle is too narrow for a bicycle and a vehicle to travel safely side by side within the lane. So let's look at the diagram here. We have that 2 to 3 feet away from the rideable edge. We have a couple feet for the width of the bicyclist. We have this letter C, which is the 3-foot passing rule. We'll go over that in a minute. And then there's the width of the vehicle. All of that adds up to just over 14 feet. So if that lane is not 14 feet wide, technically it's not wide enough to share for a bicycle and a vehicle to pass at the same time or travel at the same time together. What do? Well, if that's the case, you don't have to ride as far to the right as practicable. Then you can move out, you can take the lane, as we call it, so that the car that's coming from behind sees that they need to pull into the other lane to get around you. And most car drivers don't know why you're pulling out to do that. They don't understand that they need to give you that 3 feet, but some of them will pull out and go way around you anyway. So that's how you can control the lane, by moving over to force the vehicle to not just pass you in that lane and squish you. And number 5, the 5th reason why you don't have to ride to the far right as practicable would be if you're in a lane that's designated for bicycle use only or on a bicycle path. So say you're in the El Tour de Tucson or El Tour de Phoenix and they block off a whole lane for the event with barricades so no traffic's entering, then you can ride 3, 4, 5, however many people can fit abreast on bicycles. However, if you're on the roadway, the maximum is 2 abreast. And then in a bike lane, 2 abreast as well. So this picture down below, are they riding legally? Well, if the guy on the inside in the regular traffic lane is passing, then they're not 2 abreast. They're not more than 2 abreast. If he's standing there and they're having a conversation and they're all 3 riding, or then they're riding 3 abreast. So that's not legal. 28-816, carrying an article on your bicycle. A person shall not carry a package, bundle, or article while operating a bicycle if the package, bundle, or article prevents the driver from keeping at least one hand on the handlebars. So that's kind of a no-brainer. You want to be able to control your bicycle and not carry too much while you're riding. And you obviously want to be able to have a hand on the handlebar and be able to grab your brakes. 28-817, bicycle equipment. Here's the regulations on what you have to have on your bicycle, especially when riding at night. A bicycle that is used at nighttime shall have a lamp on the front that emits a white light visible from a distance of at least 500 feet to the front, and a red reflector on the rear of a type that is approved by the department, visible from all distances from 50 feet to 300 feet to the rear, when the reflector is directly in front of the lawful upper beams of headlamps on a motor vehicle. You may have a lamp that emits a red light visible from a distance of 500 feet to the rear, in addition to the reflector. So what does it say? It says you have to have a white light on the front of your bicycle that emits a light that's visible at least 500 feet. And you have to have a red reflector on the rear. Now, it says you have the option of having a red light on the back as well that emits light. We recommend that you do have that red light plus more. Letter B says a person shall not operate a bicycle equipped with a siren or whistle, so no sirens or whistles on your bicycle. And a bicycle shall be equipped with a brake that enables the operator to make the braked wheels skid on dry, level, clean pavement. So you have to have a brake on your bicycle. Now, what if you have a white front reflector that came on your bicycle? Is that good enough? No. You need to have a white light that emits so it's visible at least 500 feet to the front. Minimum speed limits requirements to turn off the roadway, section 28-704. A person shall not drive a motor vehicle at such a slow speed as to impede or block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic, except when reduced speed is necessary for safe operation or in compliance with the law. If a person is driving a vehicle at a speed less than the normal flow of traffic at the particular time and place on a 2-lane highway or passing is unsafe, if 5 or more vehicles are formed in a line behind the vehicle, the person shall turn the vehicle off the roadway at the nearest place designated as a turnout or wherever sufficient area for safe turnout exists. So this is saying a motor vehicle, which is not a bicycle. A bicycle is a bicycle by definition that acts as a vehicle, but not a motor vehicle. So it's saying a motor vehicle should not operate at such slow speeds. However, the C says that if you are going less than normal flow of traffic, then you should have, and if 5 more vehicles are behind you, you should pull over where it's safe to do so. If it's a construction zone with barricades, just because you can fit your bicycle between them to pull over does not mean you should, because there could be construction trucks or a backhoe or something that would be dangerous. So you want to make sure it's a safe turnout. And the next part is the 3-foot law, injuring or killing a bicyclist. Brad Gorman was a bicyclist that was killed down in Tucson when a motorist swerved into him when he was at the side of the road riding his bicycle. And that was why this law was put into place. When an overtaking and passing a bicycle proceeding in the same direction, a person driving a motor vehicle shall exercise due care by leaving a safe distance between the motor vehicle and the bicycle of not less than 3 feet until the motor vehicle is safely past the overtaken bicycle. So a motor vehicle needs to give a bicycle at least 3 feet between them when it's passing. Now the next section talks about the fines if they don't follow this. If a person violates this section, the violation results in a collision causing, number 1, serious physical injury to another person, the violator is subject to a civil penalty of up to $500. If they cause death, the violator is subject to a civil penalty of up to $1,000. And then subsection C references the subsection B with the fines, saying that section does not apply to a bicyclist who is injured in a vehicular traffic lane when a designated bicycle lane or path is present and passable. So that's saying there's no fine if there was a bicycle lane and the bicycle is not in the bicycle lane. So let's look at this in more detail. Here we have a bike lane. We have a bicyclist that's 2 to 3 feet from the rideable edge. We have that 3-foot passing log space, and the van, and you can see that the van has to pull into the other lane to pass the bicycle and give all that space. If the bicyclist crowds themselves over by the gutter and the van tries to fit by, you can see that that mirror is likely to hit the bicycle and possibly cause them to crash. So really, by the bicycle moving out and then the van providing the 3 feet, we have it safe, but they do need to get into the lane on the other side because the lane's just not wide enough. This training is brought to you by the Coalition of Arizona Bicyclists. I'm Kathy Mills. I'm a league cycling instructor and also a member of the coalition. If you can contact the coalition, get hold of them at casbike.org or get hold of me if you have any questions. And I've also split this video up into 5 individual parts that are not as long if you wanted to show them to a group or learn more. If you have any questions, do contact me or the coalition.